for a pedal that can do overdrive, distortion and fuzz all in one? Well, I think that this thing right here can do that. This is the Nebulae by Tone Electronics. On the company's website, it mentions that they think that this is the Swiss Army knife of fuzz pedals, and I think they're right. So in this video, we're going to go through a little bit about this pedal and try out some of the different settings and try and achieve an overdrive, distortion and fuzz all in one. Tone Electronics is a one-man band based in Portugal, and currently on his roster he has this brand new pedal and then one you might be more familiar with, the Animalizer Fuzz. And actually I was originally going to make the video on this because this is probably the most versatile fuzz pedal I've ever played, but instead I've decided to go for the new Nebulae pedal. And just a quick disclaimer, I'm not getting paid anything for this video, but Rick from Tone Electronics did send me these pedals and I said if I liked them I'd make a video on them, and I very much do. The pedal comes in this cool little box and then it's wrapped up in a little cloth bag which has the logo of the company printed on there. I think that looks really cool. And then you even get a few guitar picks and stickers. And then you get your little instruction manual and your serial numbers and stuff, and some settings thrown in. According to Tone Electronics, this pedal is inspired by the Sam Ash Fuzz Box, which I didn't know that pedal, but it's like a 60s fuzz, and to me it looks a little bit like the Tone Bender, and on some forums people were mentioning that it was quite middly, and actually I think that's the same with this thing. The mids are really pronounced, which you don't really get in that kind of big muff scoop sound. Basically it's designed at low gain to give you like a warm kind of boost sound, but then cranked all the way up you can get some really gnarly fuzz with it. And like I mentioned, the company stated it was kind of like a Swiss Army knife that could do everything, and I really do think they're right. In terms of controls, you've got volume, gain, tone and presence. So it's actually super simple. All the different controls just feel really nice and really premium. I reckon it feels like it could take a beating at a gig or two. Okay, so I think it's time that we start making some noises with this thing. I'd like to try and get an overdrive sound from it. And I think when I was trying to get the sounds from this pedal, I looked at this one here, the flat dirty boost, but actually that sounded a bit too dark for my liking. So in the end I kind of settled for this. I mean, it's not a load higher than they suggested, but this was the vibe I went for. I think it just has a really cool breakup on that top end. Like, if you play a chord quietly, it's not too much. But then if you really dig in, you get this really cool breakup. Okay, but I'd like to hear this thing in action, played kind of in a mix. I've basically done a couple of different picky parts. They're both with the same settings, one that's completely dry and then one that's got a little bit of delay on it. Okay, so I think that sounded like a pretty cool overdrive sound. Just before we move on to get some heavier sounds though, I just want to say that I've been doing this channel now for about 6 months, and I had no idea that it would grow so fast and so many people would be interested in hearing me talk about alternative guitar styles. But moving into next year, I'm going to try some avenues that are going to allow me to make a little bit more money and hopefully eventually not have to work the day job. In terms of what I've got planned coming into next year, there's a couple of videos I'm actually doing that are sponsored, but I just really want to make sure that I'm not undermining you guys and just selling stuff to you. But the other thing I was thinking about setting up imminently was to do some consultations where if you're struggling with guitar tone or you're recording yourself and you're having some problems, maybe we could have like a Zoom chat and I could talk you through some stuff and have a listen to stuff beforehand and then give you some pointers on it. I'll also leave details on that in the description too. But anyway, let's make some gnarlier distortion tones with this thing. I've spoken about this before on the channel, but for me, I like to always have overdrive, some sort of a mid-distortion sound, and then that really heavy fuzz to just smash people with. I always find with that sound, I want something that's not too thick and can cut through the mix really well. So again, consulting the manual, this mids drive bit here is similar to what I used, but instead I've just basically got a bit more tone again, and I think that's probably just the P90s. Oh, and actually I've got the presence control down still where it's up in the manual. And to me, that presence control didn't seem to do a whole lot, but I think it's more presence with it down. Okay, I think that sounded pretty sweet, but now we get to move into the territory that's always my favourite to do when I'm making these videos, and that's Fuzz World. And to make it ridiculously fuzzy, I just decided to turn everything up full, and I think it sounds awesome. On top of just doubling up some chords with some heavy fuzz, I've also then added a couple of rounds of a lead guitar to show just how well this thing can take pedals, and that's basically with some delay and a big reverb on it too. One thing I noticed when I was playing with this, and it might be back to what I was saying about the forums, mentioning that the fuzz box was really middly, is that you don't really lose that much clarity with this thing. It sounds really cool, and that top end just breaks up so nicely. Like, it sounds like it's really breaking, but then you still have those kind of mids and lows in there. I think that I'm going to try and get this into my pedalboard somewhere. I'm feeling like it might actually kick out the DS1, so watch this space. The Nebulae comes in at €185, but there is also a US distributor. I mean, you're getting something super versatile for under €200. I'll leave a link to their website where you can get this, alongside those other things I mentioned, all in the description. Please let me know what you think of this, and then watch this video here next. And until next time, keep on making noises.